Well, hello, ladies. I'm super excited. I have Carmen Reed Gilkison and Deirdre Harder here. We are going to be talking about the powerful female entrepreneur, a subject of much passion for me. So I'm super excited to have you ladies today. Very, very glad to have you with us. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. We're so excited.
There we go. Thanks so much, Kim.
My pleasure. So super excited to have you ladies here. And we want to get into this subject because it is going to be awesome. But before we do, share with us how you became so passionate about this particular area.
Well, Carmen and I both believe the same thing. We believe that as women reach the age of 40, 50, 60, they are just starting to settle into their power. And we are passionate about helping mission-driven women who are making a difference through their online businesses to scale in impact and profit.
Nice. Fantastic. Carmen?
Yeah. And so Deirdre and I both went through all the things that, when you come into the online space, the typical journey is you take all the courses, right? You take them all, you do all the things. And we learned how to lead people in a way that they don't have to do all of this, taking all the courses, doing all the things. We work with them one-on-one, and we just want to make sure that we help them so that people, as they are entering this stage of life, understand that it's the best half of life. People look at, when you're young, you look at, oh my gosh, 50, that seems so old. It's the worst time forever, but it's the best half of life. So we want to cover, why female entrepreneurs are such a powerful force in the world. And when women have money, they share wealth. And women also naturally create win-win situations. So typically, the patriarchal society teaches women to be the caregivers, and it teaches men to go out and make the money. And both of those roles are fine when not taken too far. But what happens is it kind of does a disservice to all of us. And I think we're all waking up to that fact now. And what we know from working with our clients and powerful female entrepreneur collaborators and associates is that when women start making the money, they distribute the money out into the world and create a win-win situation to make the world a better place. And that's not to say that men don't, all men don't do that or anything like that, but it tends to be what happens more. And that's really what lights us up. I mean, it is so exciting to help these women bring their dream out into the world and then watch what they do impact so many others. So it's kind of like a drop in the pond with that ripple effect of amazingness that we bring out into the world.
I love it. Beautifully said. All right. So, let's get into this topic. What do women need to know about entrepreneurship, and how do they become a powerful female entrepreneur?
Well, one of the greatest ways, the first part of it is to just recognize their own greatness and power. I think we all underestimate ourselves on how much power we have. And, we believe that experience elevates everything. And so if you remember that, it is about all that experience you've gained, not only in a vocation that you may have had, a profession, but in your life in general. When we get to this stage of life, we've learned a lot. And so that all works in our favor. And as far as being an entrepreneur, most women, at least the ones that we've met, we work with, are very heart-centered. And they really want to give back. They want to create this impact. And scaling your business is how you do that. Entrepreneurship is a powerful vehicle to make change. But the thing that I think a lot of female entrepreneurs miss or don't really think about is that it takes money to give. We want to give, and there is a fine line between volunteering for a cause and running a business. But I think we mix these two things up sometimes, and we feel like, okay, I'm just going to give things for free because I'm a heart-centered person. But really, something Carmen said a minute ago, I feel the same way. And one thing I've noticed is that, and this is a generalization, this is not everybody, but in general, women want to make an impact and men want to make money. Has anybody ever heard that before or thought that same thing? And really it's a combination of the two that is the real key to success. Because when you have more money, you can help more people, not only in the service that you're providing or the product that you're providing, but it's about being able to give back, being able to create something down the road that is more of a philanthropic endeavor.
Mm. So if you're a woman out there and you would love to be able to make money so that you can have a philanthropic impact on the world, please put #she's not wrong in the chat box. That'd be amazing because I know that there are so many women out there that are heart-centered, that have heart-centered businesses, that want to do good in the world, that want to make, some people say impact. I like the word contribution better than impact because I feel like it's less violent. I don't know why. But yes, a contribution to the world, but we don't want to go broke doing it, right? We want to be able to be compensated fairly for what we are doing in the world and what we are giving back to the world. Is that true?
Yeah, it absolutely is. And so how many of you all remember the instructions for when you get on an airplane and, if there's an emergency and the oxygen mask? Do you guys remember that? If you do, type yes in the chat. But they say, put on your own oxygen mask first before you help someone else put on theirs. And this is exactly what we have to do in our business. The money, the revenue in our business is the oxygen of the business. You have to have that because if you don't have it, you're going to run out of air. And that means you can't have any more impact. And you have to have the money not only for the business. We believe that the business needs to pay for itself, but it needs to pay you too, because that is your oxygen, and money is just simply a tool. So the more that we can create, the more impact that we can create. And, one of the key, I'm a CPA by profession before I became a business coach. And one of the principles that every entrepreneur needs to know, and I think women, they aren't really taught this, is that you must match the revenue to the business needs and to the expenses that are going to be required, the investments that are going to be required in order to scale. You can't scale without investing both time and money. And you run out of time, and then you need money to get back some of that time. That's where the scale factor comes in.
Okay, awesome. All right, so you need money and you need time and you need a balance of both of them so that you can do it. Actually, I totally agree with you. I have a friend who teaches on wealth, and wealth is not just money. It's also who you know, and it's also the time you have, right? And you can be wealthy in relationships and you can be wealthy with time. But if you are only wealthy with money, then that can run you into problems. But if you're not wealthy with money as well, that can run you into different sorts of problems. So I love how you look at this. Carmen, your thoughts?
Well, so there's another wealth, and this is what we teach our clients when they're building their business. We teach them to build a business on values and validation. And we start with values because that's tapping into that internal power and that internal wealth. And a lot of business coaches, most of them, do not start from the inside out. We have this inside out approach for a reason, and it's because in order to feel wealthy, in order to feel that wealth of your personal power and all the experience that you bring to the table today, you have to tap into that. And you also have to know, what are my values? What makes me tick? What are my hard no's? What are my hard yeses? What do I want to do? And when we are talking about applying those to how we build our business, the benefit to that is that you're able to build a business, build in that wealth, and do everything in a way that feels authentic to you. And not only does it feel authentic, but it allows you to ensure that you do not build just a job. Because the truth is, you can build a business and end up hating it. And
I've done that.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes. And so I don't know how many of you have heard stories about that, where someone did something, they think they're supposed to do it, or they look at, I was really good at doing this, whatever it is. Let's say they were a litigator or something like that. So I'm going to do something along those lines because that's what I have experience in. Well, guess what? If you hated doing that, don't build a business around it. And then it's also easy to build a business around something that you don't believe you hate. But if you haven't taken the time to match it with your internal values, which is kind of like your compass, right? Your internal compass, then you're going to wind up building just a job. And that's like the most deflating realization to wake up one day and say, you know what, I don't like anything that I've done. And I've built a business that I didn't like either. So we've all been there, I think. I think it's part of the learning process, but that's why values and validation become so important. So we start with values, and then we also add validation. And what does that mean? That means that when our clients come to us, wherever they are in business, brand new, in 8 years, in 30 years, we want them to be validating what their next thing is that their offer that they're going to sell by selling, right? It's making the sales validates what you're doing. And we have a whole process for this, but it's really important to us at Encore Empire to start from the inside out and start with that values and validation piece.
I love it. This is so powerful. If you guys are getting value, put value in the chat box out of this. I actually have never heard anybody talk about building a business that like that, because honestly, I thought I was one of the very, very few people in the world who'd done that. I spent 17 years in corporate. And when I got to the top of the ladder, I looked behind the curtain and it was not a ladder I even wanted to be on. I did not want to do that for the rest of my life. I jumped off the ladder and successfully landed on my feet, and I decided to build a business. And what I built a business around was what I was good at. And not what I wanted to do. And then I was in a lot of trouble. It was not a pretty thing. And I didn't know anybody else talked about that. So I am delighted to hear somebody actually speaking about that, because just because you're good at something doesn't mean that you enjoy it, doesn't mean that it's fun, and does not mean that you're supposed to do it for the rest of your life. So if you needed permission, I'm giving it to you. These ladies are giving it to you right now. You don't have to do that for the rest of your life. Do something that you love doing instead. Powerful stuff, powerful messages. All right, so we're going to start with the inside. We're going to recognize our own greatness and power. What's the third thing that we definitely need to do?
Well, I think it's the strategy and putting all the pieces together. And Carmen, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So strategy is, when we come into entrepreneurship, usually you come in with your expertise, right? You are either a health coach or you're a yoga instructor or whatever your thing is, but you're not a business-minded person. The business of business is not typically people's strong suit. And what we find is that it's the strategy piece that's missing. So it's like building a house without a foundation. If you don't have your strategy for your business, you can be doing all the things, posting in all the places and, attending all the events and doing all the things that you're supposed to do, and still not be gaining traction because you don't have a strategy that matches your business. And this comes back to the strategy that we help our clients develop comes from what are their values? What are their values? What are their goals? What is it that you want? And then let's look at that through the lens of that and what you want to do in your business. And let's come up with the strategy to get you there, because it's a lot more, I keep using the word impactful, but efficient and effective to come in and have a roadmap, a clear roadmap. Otherwise, it's like you're looking at a 1,000-piece puzzle all laid out on the table and you're trying to put that together and maybe there's some pieces missing, right? You're not going to get the whole picture because you just don't have that strategy. So strategy is the piece that we've got to have. And that's what, as Deirdre and I, as business strategists, that's what we help our clients with.
Okay. Well, fantastic. If people want to work with you directly, I hear that you have a free downloadable for our folks. Is that right? Like a way for them to start learning a little bit more about what you have and what you do?
We do. It is the business validation method. So we get back to validation where we teach you how to do that. Business validation method workshop. And you'll want to use the coupon code FREE because it is something that we sell, but the link has been put in the chat. So we invite you to that. It's a pre-recorded 5-day workshop that we've done that you get to feel like you are going along with those attendees, and it is fabulous. So we hope that you'll check it out and learn about how important and valuable validation is.
Well, fantastic. So if you would click the link in the chat right now and open it on your computer, and then once it opens, if you would put a 1 in the chat box, just to let us know it worked for you. Because sometimes it works for us on the back end, but it doesn't work for you on the front end. And if you ever have any problems getting any of the downloadables from today or the free gifts from our speakers, you can always email our support line, which is support@voicesofwomensummit.com. That's support@voicesofwomensummit.com. All right. So it looks like a couple of you were already able to grab that amazing gift. So it is not just a free PDF or anything like that. It's actually a full workshop. Is that correct?
That's correct. 5 days. You can do it 5 days. Because it's pre-recorded, you could go at your own pace, right? You could do it in less than 5 days, but we give you homework in between. So actually taking it at that 5-day pace is a nice pace to go.
Fantastic. All right. What are some of the things that they're going to learn in the workshop?
So one of the things that, and this is, a lot of times we think, oh, well, we have to do this initial work and research in the beginning of our business, right? But you also need to do the same kind of research to stay up on your market and who your audience is, because things shift in the marketplace and our ideal clients shift. It's always changing. So whether you're just starting or you already have your offer set up or you're thinking about a new offer, this framework is the framework you can use over and over again. It's going to show you how to really get in touch with your ideal client avatar and know them at a deeper level than you probably have learned about in the past. You're going to learn how to speak their language, and this is critical for marketing and for messaging. And then it's going to show you how to validate your offer before you even put it out there and spend a bunch of time with it.
So a lot of people will come up with a really good idea and they'll be like, oh, I know this is genius. And they'll spend a lot of time crafting and creating. And then finally it's perfect and it's ready to be released to the world. And then when it gets ready to be released to the world, people don't buy it and there's crickets. That can happen because you're not doing market research beforehand. But specifically what Deirdre is talking about, and that is validating the offer before you make it. Are you of the belief that you should actually sell something before you create it?
100%.
Yep.
Awesome.
And so I real quick, I think that's one of the hardest things to wrap your mind around. But once you do it, you see the power of it, because, if you can sell something and you have just a week or two of content so that people have something when they come into it, and then you build it with those people, you are building something that is so on target with what your audience needs. It's so powerful.
I love that. All right. Well, super powerful. Actually, Julie looks like she uploaded it on her computer, and she says, "I'm in. I'm looking forward to the shenanigans that I ticked the box for." So, what's that all about, ladies?
So we believe, just like you do, Kimberly, that if it's not going to be fun, then you don't need to do it. And so we've added in a whole lot of fun. We have prizes, and even though this is a replay, you all can still win prizes, and you get as you do the work, you get rewarded for that work, because we believe that action should be 80% of what you're doing, 20% learning, 80% action and implementation. And by getting rewards for doing that, your brain gets really happy and you'll keep doing it. So it's an easy way to get yourself to do what you need to do. And so we've built that all in. So those are the shenanigans that I think everyone's going to really enjoy.
Awesome. I like the word shenanigans. I've heard the term gamification for your business. It sounds like you've built a lot of that into there already.
That's right. Yep. Anyone going through the workshop is going to feel seen and heard. And if you answer your questions inside of our VIP portal where we house all of our stuff, we will respond to every once in a while to people, because we want people to know you'll get rewarded. Like Deirdre said, you'll get a special email when you hit a certain milestone. So we keep you going. It's not one of those where you just left all by yourself in your room to try to do this stuff. It's like, we want it to be fun. And so we hope that that'll be the experience of everyone joining.
Okay, great. Well, ladies, this has been a delight. I have really, really enjoyed sharing this time with you. Before we let you go, any final words for our crew?
Yeah. So one thing to remember as a powerful female entrepreneur is that you have everything inside of you to achieve your dreams, and you must believe it. All you have to do is listen to what's inside of you.
Listen to what's inside of you. Words to live by. Deirdre.
Oh, yes. I would echo the same thing. The power is inside. Listen to curiosity, and follow that drive, because that's what's going to keep your life exciting. That's what's going to keep you moving forward.